The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is still the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And since Nintendo might wait until E3 2022 at worst to announce the title, let's theorize what it is.
Are we talking about the title of Breath of the Wild 2?
Yes, and what else could it tie to except the Hand of Time? This hand, or arm, was not in the thumbnail of the 2019 reveal of this sequel for no reason. And what did the second 2021 teaser start and end with before moving over to the castle? Link's right hand being attacked by Malice, and then towards the end focus on the hand and its multiple functionalities, including heading up to the sky or possible heavens. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell, as together with Masked Nintendo Bandit, we'll go over why it is very likely that this game's title will have something to do with this. Time is cruel to us all. Just ask the ancient Sheikah monks, Impa, or what remains of this soul. And this is the thing, the person holding down Ganondorf has no doubt been there for tens of thousands of years, and slowly dissolved to the point that only his Hand of Time remains, along with clearly his consciousness. And here I need to give a big shout out to Jasqreate on Twitter for making this art piece and for granting us permission to use it in this video and as its thumbnail, so go and check it out on Twitter. But even this masterpiece begs the question, who is this combined part of Link, and is it a threat to him despite being an ally? These two questions are the reason why Nintendo is holding back the title reveal, as it could spoil certain story bits save for when the title is finally revealed. That being Link's tie to the hand within the sequel itself.
What Conrad is trying to say is that this relationship with this hand might in many ways replace the quest that we were expecting with Zelda. Like, oh yeah, you totally have a companion, but not the love of your life who is somewhere. Instead, it's a spiritual being or soul from the distant past, or if you prefer, times unknown, which Link absolutely does not know. And based on the pain involved in their first encounter, this might have deeper implications than we think. After all, Link has lost the proof of being the hero of Hyrule, the Master Sword, meaning that he now has to start from scratch with a hand which might actually harm him. The fact that this thing is conscious is honestly terrifying, and who knows how much malice it contains after sucking up the red goo from the source itself for tens of thousands of years. At the same time though, with the disappearance of ancient technology across the land of Hyrule, this hand is his best hope in conquering the underground and sky for the first time and Hyrule once again. With what power? The favorite of the Zelda team, time.
You see, every 3D Zelda game has some sort of time twist. In Ocarina of Time it was the Master Sword itself. In Majora's Mask, the Ocarina could alter time and save us from Moonfall by resetting time. In the Wind Waker, the Master Sword was once again a plot twist, as it kept the many enemies frozen in time in Hyrule Castle. In Twilight Princess you had our first taste of a Gate of Time when entering the Temple of Time, before Skyward Sword gave us multiple Gates of Time and the Time Shift Stones, Space-Time Stones in Japanese. Even Breath of the Wild had a time theme in its story through the memories connecting past and present, though in that case it lacked a gameplay element and world-altering impact to the prior games. Except for Stasis. Stasis was awesome. The sequel on the other hand? Whoa! Now that is something different. And new, even when it was demonstrated for a mind-blowing 4 seconds. Time freeze objects and Uno reverse to turn the hunter into the hunted. A glowing ability that Link definitely did not possess in Breath of the Wild, and which is tied to the hand, which might or might not possess the Triforce of Courage. As you can see, revealing the final title if this one is tied to the hand or soul, and with it its purpose in the game, could indeed spoil a lot in regard to gameplay.
Then again, every Zelda game since Ocarina of Time, with the exception of Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild, has been tied to at least a degree of the key gameplay mechanic of said game. The title Ocarina of Time pointing to it as a gate opener and puzzle solver, and Majora's Mask as the main antagonist, but also the gameplay impact of the masks found in game. The Wind Waker, the baton that allows Link to traverse the Great Sea, and Skyward Sword, which is self-explanatory. For Breath of the Wild sequel, it is clear that the Hand of Time or something similar would make sense. But then why hasn't the Zelda team revealed it yet? Because it might point to the character to a far greater and deeper degree than the Minish Cap ever did, and tease plot twists that might be tied to the hand. Indeed, the hand being physically merged to Link's body and possibly even replacing Link's lost hand makes things personal, as no longer is it just a hat or a being hiding in the shadow, but an organic attachment with its own soul and free will. One who might even come into tensions with Link as they have clear differences. But what keeps them moving forward is their combined target, Ganondorf in his castle.
This common objective, much like Midna's and Eslo's questline, coincide with that of Link's, only this time we might see another combination not seen outside Twilight Princess. The spirit or soul of a deceased hero guiding his successor. With the difference being that in Twilight Princess, only the first encounter with the hero's shade was mandatory. The sky is obviously not visible from the ground of Hyrule, as only the dead can enter up there. But as Link as a deceased being capable of opening gateways up there, the hero of the wild is able to emerge in the heavens. At the same time, being attached to an individual who is dead might bring unforeseen consequences and conflicts like control over Link's body, and possibly even mind. Think of the hand like a virus, which is an invader to Link's body and which slowly merges not only the physical portions of dead and alive, but also the two minds and their memories. Memories that were required to reclaim, along with the Master Sword and the Divine Beast in order to unlock the true ending for the hero of the wild. Two memories, one of the distant past and one of 100 years ago and the present of the era of the wild. And here we could see a major plot twist which was missing in Breath of the Wild, regarding who is truly in control. In Cyberpunk 2077, there's a similar dilemma and the only one entity that can move on with their life after the big climax. A forced quest which brought up a number of questions about existence and life after death. And this is a question that could very easily show up in Breath of the Wild sequel, as Link himself has been very close to death in 2 instances.
Since honestly, who's to say that Link didn't die right there and then, and instead the big plot twist of the sequel is that we play as a different Link, but in this Link's body. Now yes, this is a very controversial notion, far more than 2 consciousnesses sharing the same body. And where do we play through the memories from the distant past in certain sections of the game? One thing that's worth asking is, how is Link controlling this conscious hand unless there are 2 personalities rivaling for the same body?
Just think of it, past and present colliding within the same body that we the player control, and a mental struggle to understand each other and work together towards the end goal. Different motivations, rivalry, but also potential friendship. And all according to the main theme of this sequel, combinations. With a structure like this in mind, where we go up to the heavens, can manipulate time and perhaps even learn far more about the past by replaying it through gameplay sequences thanks to the deceased spirit and hand. And here we no doubt find the great potential of the sequel. The same Hyrule through the same eyes, but potentially through 2 different minds. Far more than just a powerful arm connected to the recognized by Princess Zelda, hero of Hyrule.
The possible missing link that might connect this with this and give us long-awaited answers. Solutions that will surface gradually as we explore his and not Ganondorf's past, leading up to the information dump that is certain to come out of Ganondorf's mouth before we pull our hands towards him. At the same time, we likely will not be able to replay or even see Ganondorf's past, but by sharing our body with the last hero who challenged him prior to us, we can at least see things from this Link's perspective. His quest and battles leading up to the defining moment of his life when he got a hold of Ganondorf and kept holding him for tens of thousands of years and at least 2 calamities. Connections and combinations that elevate The Legend of Zelda to new gameplay exploration and narrative heights. Breath of the Wild revolutionized the gameplay of Link in the sandbox that was the world of Hyrule after the fall of the kingdom. The sequel with the Hand of Time might revolutionize the way that we solve puzzles with a second voice in our head, and through this soul is the way the story is told. Not only through Link's notes as we saw in the Sheikah Slate mission summaries, but also through multiple layers.
The world structure of underground, surface and sky, multiple layers of clothing, weapons and enemies on top of each other. And last but not least, multiple personalities or souls potentially rivaling to be on top of each other. All going along with the central theme of the sequel. Combinations and different layers where the 4 players introduced in the 2019 reveal of the sequel find themselves in Ganondorf, Zelda, Link, and the Green Hand or Soul, which might be a deceased Link of the past. Obviously, Link doesn't speak much, so until we play the game it will be difficult to answer the biggest question regarding the Hand of the past and time, namely who is in control throughout or at the very least certain sections of this upcoming quest, the Link of the present or the Link of the past, as this revelation might send shockwaves and turn the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild into the 10 out of 10 experience that for instance Angry Joe requires in especially the story department in order for him to give the game a legendary 10 out of 10 rating.
Is Zelda a 10 out of 10? For me, no. The scarce voice acting with its wavering quality, but mostly I gotta say was the story and the characters.
But there are more reasons for why the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was only seen at the Game Awards for a 2022 Nintendo Switch ad with the same scenes found in the E3 2021 second teaser.
Name your fucking game already.
arguments that we'll explore together on Masked Nintendo Bandit's channel. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a comment about your thoughts on the theory of the Hand of Time and press the like and subscribe buttons and notification bells completely for free. Last but not least, before you head over to MNB, there's a great thanks to Jasqreate for permission to use this amazing art piece both in the video and the thumbnail, and to all patreon.com/commonrealm patrons, including Charles Shash, for their support. You rock, and please enjoy Masked Nintendo Bandit's part of this collaboration.